Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to our webinar this afternoon. I'm just going to wait for a couple of minutes now to let people log on. So if you just bear with us, be grand. So maybe in the meantime, if you'd like to type into the chat box, maybe what part of the country you're in, or your name or whatever, and we can see where we all are today. I can see a few of you logging in there now. That's good. We'll just wait another minute. Okay, so our webinar today is presented by Finola Howard. She's a brand and marketing strategist with a company called, her own company called How Great Marketing Works. And the webinar this afternoon is called Get Up Close and Personal, which is a great title. So I think I'll hand you over now and introduce you to Finola.
Great. Thank you so much, Mary. Lovely to be here.
No problem at all.
So hello, everyone. And today we're going to talk about, I've called it Get Up Close and Personal, and it's about customer profiling. So what I'd like to maybe say at the start of this presentation is, if you have questions or if you get stuck on anything I cover, do feel free to interrupt me. I will stop and pause at each point, and because I want this to work for you. So please do ask me questions. I love the questions. And if you want to share where you're dialing in from, I see somebody's there from, let me just have a little look. Someone's in Limerick. Hello, welcome. And I'm calling from Dunmore East. So let's get stuck in. So I call this Get Up Close and Personal because this is what I want you to do when you think about your customers, when you think about customer profiling. And it's so that you can learn, I want you to learn how to listen to them, because we don't listen enough to our customers. And I want you to be able to hear what they have to tell you. So I'm going to get stuck in, if that's okay with everyone. And I'm just going to check the chat. Great. And Mary's going to check for questions. Okay, fantastic. So let's get going. So I kind of want to do a little bit of research and think about why somebody would want to come on to a session like this to learn about customer profiling. So I kind of asked questions about where are people's concerns about customer profiling, where do they get stuck or whatever. And the questions that come back for me all the time is, can I have more than one customer type? Now we call them customer types, customer avatars, customer profiles, and all of them are valid. So I use that language interchangeably. So can you have more than one customer type? Yes, you can. Why do I need to do this? You need to do this to actually make your marketing work for you, because if you don't know who you're targeting, then how can you communicate to a blank wall? How can you really focus on the customers that are going to generate the revenue you need to grow your business? So you really need to understand your customers in order to do any form of marketing, because you need to know who to speak to and what they want to hear from you. You also need to know how to listen to them. So how do I start? Where do I start? We're going to cover that. And then what? And is it going to make a difference? Well, yes, it's going to make a difference. And we'll explore that. So that's all that stuff. That's what we're here to solve today. Okay. So my next thing that I want to say to you is, I want you to walk away with 3 learning points today. And the 3 learning points are so that you understand what a customer profile is and how to do one that matters. I'm also going to say to you that when I'm presenting here to you, I anchor everything I say with this kind of with typed stuff so that you can actually take it in and take it in from more than one kind of stimulus. So you'll hear me speaking, but I kind of want to anchor the messages to you. So you will always have some guidelines on each of the slides that we're working through. So your 3 learning points are what a customer profile is and how to do one that matters, because people stop too soon when they do customer profiling and they really don't get the benefit from it. So this is why we're going to focus on how to do it properly. We're going to discuss where will I use this practically in my business, and also how can I target more than one customer for my business. Okay, they're the 3 things we're going to discuss today. Okay, so are you ready to get up close and personal with your customers? And if you are, type yes in the chat and I'll continue. I do need 1 or 2 yeses in the chat to help me continue. So fantastic. Salman is great. Thank you. I love it. Yes. Okay, fantastic. So then I have to keep going. Okay. So rules of engagement. I use rules of engagement every time I work with any client or do any workshop. And here's our rules of engagement. No judgment, because we need to feel safe in the environment, safe that you can ask questions and know that you're in a safe place. So our rules of engagement here are no judgment. We are where we are. Confidentiality. I won't share your story outside the group. And I will respect your intellectual property. Your business is safe with me. Okay. So let's start with what a customer profile is. Okay. And I think you probably have a good idea. It's used quite a lot. You can guess. You're kind of going to go into some depth about what your customer is and who they are. But I'd like you to think of it like this. Okay. I'd like you to think of it as a conscious choice to name them, to say, this is my customer. This person here, this person, this is who I'm targeting. I'm not allowing everyone, because it's really important for you to understand in your business that you get to choose your customer. When we're growing, actively growing a business, we are not passively sitting there waiting for the customers to come in the door. What we're doing is we are actively choosing. That's why the word targeting comes in. So targeting, when you target customers, you're going after a specific customer. You're not rejecting everyone else. You're just putting your marketing euros or marketing dollars into a specific type of customer. So this is a really powerful thing, to consciously choose someone. And it makes people feel a little uncomfortable sometimes, because you're like, well, did I choose the right one? Have I left anybody out? Am I missing any opportunities? And all of those fears come up. But it's also a very powerful thing to do, to actively name them and choose them and say, they're for me. Now, simultaneously, they're choosing us. And we have to make sure that this is balanced, that we're actually going after somebody who wants to work with us, wants to buy our products, wants to do work with us. So here's my challenging question for you. If you can't name your customer, then do you have a market? So I say that as a challenge to you, so that you bring a stronger consciousness to the business, so that you know and you're empowered to know that you can go after a specific type of customer, a specific type of person who wants to buy those mugs, that print on the wall, commission that piece of furniture, whatever it is. You get to choose, and that's empowering. And I want you to think of that as empowering. I also kind of want to say to you, when you discover more about your customers, you may change who that choice is, and you're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed. But you take this kind of journey to find the customer that fits you. Okay, that's really important. Okay, the other thing about customer profiling is it's a way to create space to really see your customer and listen to what they're trying to tell you. Okay. And I'm going to work off a worksheet that I'm going to make available to you guys that you can download for free. And what it does is, when you have a separate space, like a worksheet or a notebook or whatever it is, that creates space for you to capture insights that you get from your customer because you have regular interactions with them, when you get to start to hear them, that's what a profile does. You start to hear what they're looking for, what their constraints are. Are there constraints about the size of the wall? Are there constraints about the size of the budget? Are there constraints about the color? Are there constraints around, I love animals and I only want ceramics with animals on it? Or I have a theme running in my house and I want it to fit this theme. What are the constraints? But it allows you, customer profiling allows you to understand your customers, and it creates space for you to hear them. And we're going to create that space today. It's also kind of a way to test that you have a sufficient audience or market for your products or services. Because when you name them, your brain starts to click, and it starts to see, well, I might be targeting females of 33 and a third years of age who only wear kilts. You say to yourself, that market might not be big enough for me. So The act of profiling also allows you to start the process of researching the viability of that market. It is that first step. When you want to do market research, you do market research before you profile and after you profile, because you start by naming who you think is your target customer, and then you need to verify it. But today we are focusing on naming them, choosing them, profiling them, okay? I also say to you that, excuse me, it's the hardest work you'll ever do in marketing because it never ends. If you stop profiling, then you're making an assumption that you know your customer. You're also making an assumption that your customer doesn't grow like you, doesn't evolve like you. So we must always remember that we have to continue to learn because things change. We all know things change. Look at what has happened in the pandemic. So much has changed. So let's assume change will happen. So therefore, you will never complete your profile. Okay? And while that may sound daunting to you at this point, it's not, it's actually freeing. It just allows you the space to continually listen and watch for opportunities. And that's kind of what I want you to get out of this. Okay? So next, the problem of profiling. Rarely do businesses spend enough time here, and it's usually a tick box exercise. And I caution you, do not treat this as a tick box exercise. Treat it as an avenue or a channel that allows you to ask questions to learn more. And if you treat it as a tick box exercise, you stop listening and you stop learning. And again, back to my previous point, we want to continue learning and listening so we won't miss any opportunities. Okay. And also, such hesitance and tick box exercising, but you need customer profiling for every single piece of marketing you will ever do. Okay. Every single piece of marketing you will ever do. You need it to design products and services for customers that they are willing to pay for. You need it to do sales pages, landing pages, and actually every single page, even a abandoned cart page, every page you do on your website needs to be written with your customer in mind, or it won't have any power. You need to know who your customer is, to create content for them, to do social media for them, to find the hashtags they're using to find the answer to their problems. You need to be in those hashtags too. You need it for SEO. If you don't know who your target customer is, then you can't do effective search engine optimization. You can't do Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads. You need it to do press releases so that you're targeting the right journalist to get that spread in that Christmas piece or whatever it is. You need to know who your customer is. You also need, if you use influencer marketing, so if you design and create a beautiful product, you're trying to reach out to put it in the hands of the right influencers, you only know the right influencers by knowing who their customers are, who their followers are. And if they're not the same as who your customer profile is, then that's a wasted effort. Knowing who your customer is and customer profiling is the heart of any form of strategic marketing. The rest is guesswork. You also need it for email marketing. You need it for everything in your marketing. Okay. I think that's clear. So if you want your customers to guide you, you have to get to know them. That's the message. Okay. Anybody in doubt? Is anybody here feel like they don't need to profile? Let me know. Anybody in doubt? Any answers in the chat for me? You're clear. Okay. So what I want to do is work through 7 steps to building an effective customer profile. Okay. And we'll work it in a minute. So if you have a piece of paper and a pen, we'll do this together. But first, I'll just give you an intro for this. So if you grab a piece of paper and a pen while I'm talking you through the first piece. Okay. So 7 steps for you. Okay. In terms of building a profile. First step for you is the demographics. And this is usually where people stop. Demographics are things like, are they male or female? Are they a child or an adult? How old are they? Where do they live? What kind of life do they like? What kind of jobs do they have? What is all that kind of obvious stuff that you could Google really easily? We need that. We need that at the heart of it because it's a good framing anchor point for who they are. And we need that at this point. Now, most people stop there, and we are not going to stop there. We're going to go a little bit deeper so that we can actually hear them speak to us, whisper to us, okay? So that's step one, demographics. The next step is life looks like this for me, okay? So it's an effort to put yourself in their shoes. If you can describe a day in the life of this person, do they have kids? Are they dropping the kids to school? Do they have time to relax in the evening and look at that painting on the wall? Are they needing stuff that's not breakable? What are the things, if we forget ourselves for a moment and actually tell the story of our customer of a typical day in their life, even things like discovering that they're really tired and stressed helps us. Because if they're really tired and stressed, maybe there's something we can do in how we build our products to help them. If your target customer is a retailer that is just an owner operator retailer, and they just have a very small space in the retail outlet that's just filled with, if they're having a hard time stacking shelves and having to reach, or what's it like for them? If you can really kind of feel what it's like for them in their daily life, you will see these kind of nuggets starting to appear in how you can reach them better. So that's the first thing. Sorry, that's the second thing. The next step that we'll look at is, what are their challenges and pain points? Do they have, and what we want to do is reflect or capture that challenge or pain point in their language, not ours. Very often when we're profiling customers, we tend to use our own language by distilling what we hear. And I don't want you to distill, because if you can capture their words, their pain, their challenges in their own words, then you can use that language right back at them in your landing pages and sales pages. And it could be things like something to do with their passion for the environment, their struggle to find things to help them become more environmental at home, and that will help you, but it's their language, those insights to help you reach them, okay? After that, it'll be because we unfortunately will always deal with our pain first. So we need to understand their pain first, or their challenges first. Sometimes their challenges will be budget-wise. Sometimes their challenge will be access. Sometimes their challenge will be lots of things, right? But once we've dealt with or helped them with their pain point, the next thing is we don't want to lose them once that's done. We want to see if we can nurture that relationship a little bit more. So when the pain is gone, what motivates them? What can we help them with then? What can we make beautiful in their homes then? Okay. The next step is to track their footprint of where they are online and offline. Where can we find them? Where do they speak? Where do they write? Where do they do things? So that's particularly important if it's a retailer, a corporate customer, or something like that. And then conversely, we're going to find out, what do they consume? So what social media do they consume? What podcasts do they listen to? What do they watch, et cetera, et cetera. So we do it from both perspectives. Where do they speak? Where do they write? Where are they active? Maybe in their role, in their jobs, maybe just, they're active in a community or something like that. And conversely, what do they consume? So what are they reading? What are they consuming? Because we want to place ourselves in either or both of those two places with our social media and our marketing, okay? And then what else? I always leave room for what else? What did we not expect to find? What is there something that you come across when you're doing this research and understanding your customer? What did you find that was juicy? You're looking for the magic, okay? So usually people give up before they go through each of these stages, because it gets tiring. It gets like, really, do I really have to know all of this stuff? And often it can be daunting when we don't know all the answers. And let me assure you, you will not know all the answers. Nobody does when they start this work. And all I want you to see when you see a blank answer for yourself is that is a tip of what you need to look into. That's all it means. It doesn't mean anything, only that. So do work through each of these stages. It will make a difference, okay? So don't give up. It'll make the difference in your marketing. Now, are you ready to dive in? So how are we so far? Are you ready to dive in? Type yes for me in the chat if you are, or do you have a question for me? I'm happy to answer anything yet, or if there's something that you want to prompt me with. So please answer yes, yes, yes. Wonderful, fantastic. Okay, we shall keep going. Great. Okay. The first thing I want you to do is, before I share a screen, I would like you to do this exercise, okay? I want you to do a brain dump, because we focus on this whole thing of choosing customers. So take a moment, and on that sheet of paper that you have, just brain dump it, like brainstorm, write in all of the possible customers for your products that you have and write them down. And I'm going to give you a minute to do that. And can you do that now? And when you've finished, let me know. Actually, when you've finished, why don't you tell me how many you've got? So you might have retailers, but what type of retailer? I want you to be specific. Don't just kind of give me a big generic thing, because I can't get my head around it and you can't get your head around it. So is it a convenience store? Is it a tourist outlet? Is it what are, list all the possible customers for your products or services, and then tell me how many you've got. And reach out if you're stuck. So can you type in the chat how many you got? Four, fantastic. Not sure how to define too many to count. That's what happens. But I want you to, have you written any? Karen, have you written their titles down, or give me a few examples? Because we want to narrow that. Okay, so 4, fantastic. You're great. And what I'd say to you, Karen, is it 10, is it 20? Because that answer would teach you something. If I said to you, to answer in a way of less than 10, less than 20, less than 30, less than 40, how many do you think? Yes, I sell handcraft gifts on Etsy, so lots of different people buying. That's individuals. Okay, so great, brilliant now, brilliant question. We're looking at types of customers, okay? So yes, there are many individuals buying, but what kinds of people are buying? And this is the type, the profile that we're trying to get together. What are you seeing as a pattern, or what is similar across all of those types of customers? What is similar across all those types of customers that you can create a category out of? And when you've got a category, that counts as one. And Dan Taylor, hold on, I just want to make sure. Does that make sense to you, Karen? Does that help you? Anyone looking for gifts for adults who are hard to buy for? Okay, so this is brilliant, okay? Because we want to, so you've already started. Do you see the difference now in how you've answered? That we started with too many to count, and then anyone looking for gifts for adults. Now, are the adults that they're buying for, are they, do you find that, is it that they're buying gifts for females? Or are they buying it for male adults? Are they looking for it in, what else do you know about them? And the thing is, even if you can't answer that question now, like, could it possibly be mothers, brothers, sisters, daughters, all of that? Gifts for special occasions. Okay, So we need to profile exactly, we need to understand a little bit more about who they are, because the focus here is on what they're buying, not who they are, either some for parents or friends. Okay, so we're getting closer. What the key message for you here, for all of you, because it's really great, is often we have a tendency to focus on what the product is or what they're buying. Someone who's looking for this product, someone who's looking for that product, but not who the person is behind that. You will have greater success by understanding the person who's buying the gift. And that's where your key stuff around your marketing will be. Okay, I'm just going to go scroll back. By the way, I found most professional influencers to be relatively useless for premium products. Highly respected and influential friends are best. Yes, absolutely. They are still the influencers. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you're right. There's a difference between the influential friends and the professional influencers. And this is a trend in the influencer space. It's that small is actually often better, but you've got to verify that. Thanks for that comment, Dan. Okay, I'm looking for gifts for adults. I kind of want you to look in to see who is the type of person that will buy this product. Is it a people who love luxury? Is it women who love luxury? Is it women over 50 who love luxurious jewelry? Is it, what can we see about the person behind the purchase, not the product? Okay. Yes, we know if we are only ever looking at people who are searching for giftware, we will never know the customer. Okay. 90% are bought for themselves. Okay. See, that's great. Someone who wants to buy a product for themselves, a piece of jewelry for themselves. Now, what can you figure out about them? Okay. So we're kind of jumping to the next stage. But so here I would automatically now flag for all of you to start to think about, if you have sold 10 products or 30 products or 500 products, you will start to see that there's a trend in who has bought. You have a list of all of them. You know, first of all, what percentage are male or female. You will get clues into the type of people they are. What I want you to really think about is really understanding who they are in terms of the primary demographics and how many types of customers you have. You'll see a pattern. You need to start to look for that pattern, because it will help you market much more effectively, and it allow you to choose the customers that you want to target much more effectively. Most are women over 30, wise over 50, pound wise or dollar wise, and over 50 years of age. Okay, so you're starting this process of understanding the person behind the purchase. That's the big lesson here. Okay, so on the whole, you've got, on average, all of you have 4 or 5 customers that you have discovered. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, I want you to pick one type of customer that we can work with now. Okay, so if it is that 30-year-old woman, that 50-year-old man, or whatever it is, choose that person now. And I'm going to share my screen with you, if that's okay. And I have a worksheet for this that you can actually download for free, but we're going to work off paper for now. Just go to my Instagram account on @howgmw, and you can download it from there. So let me share my screen here for you all. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so you will probably remember from the last time I did a session with you guys that I like boxes, because I like how to break things down piece by piece. Okay, so for that woman over 30, woman over 50, that's all you know now. Okay, this is step number 1. In here, on the top of your sheet of paper, I want you to name them. Okay, so what I found is that when we start to humanize our customers by giving them a name, like Mary Dollar Wise could be the name of this customer. It's so that you can call to mind very, very quickly who they are and build the profile out from them. And what I'd like for you to do is maybe take a picture or take a representation an image that would sum them up. So maybe it is Mary who's dollar wise or dollar foolish or whatever you want to call them, okay? So name that customer, and now we're going to get to know them, okay? So the first thing that you all found out about Mary dollar wise is, you know, her age. I want to find out from you, and you start to ask these questions of, where are they based? Is she based in Ireland? Is she based in America? Is she based in the UK? Is she based in France? And you are allowed to go outside of geography. So the big lesson for you is one profile per customer type. And you know that a customer is different if they behave differently. So if your dollar wise Irish woman is different to your dollar wise American woman, then they require two different profiles. So so just to know that. So start at the very beginning. Are they professionals? What do they do for a living? Do they have kids? Are they mothers? What do you know about them? Do the obvious first. And automatically can see, oh, they really are human. They do have a life. They are single or divorced or have 3 kids, or they have grown-up kids, or they have young kids. What is the demographics that actually start to humanize them? And before you get scared and say, well, I don't know any of that because I've never asked any of that, there will be clues to some of that stuff. And it might be, the clues may be in the nature of what they buy and the nature of the questions that they ask you. And what I'm asking you is to become like a private investigator and start to see what you can find out about your customer. And not in a creepy way. We're not trying to do like data. We're trying to understand how we can serve them better. That is the only purpose here, is how can we make them happy? How can we give them a smile on their face when they see that chain around their necks, or look at that beautiful painting that you did for them on their wall? What are the things that teach us about our customers? And you can, if you are starting with nothing at the moment, except maybe some customers, why don't you even explore this idea of and embrace the blankness of your answers by saying, wow, I really don't know anything about them, but I'd love to know. So how can I find this out? You do things like ask them. Like in this age of Instagram and stuff, you can ask them things like, I mean, I did one recently on Instagram in the stories or something, and saying, we did a this or that. And it's like cats or dogs, red or white wine, you know, mountainside or cities. So you can ask questions to start to guide and get yourself to understand and get closer. And by asking and sharing who you are, you will find out who they are, and you can help them more and design better for them and produce better for them. So the mistake often in marketing is to assume that we need to blast at our customers. And instead, what we need to do is pull the information to share, to understand our customers. So how can you even at this early stage, I want to say to you, reach out to your customers and get to know them, and start by thinking about, how much do I really know about them? Do I even know how old they are? Do I even know anything about them at all? So here is, treat this as a long-term exercise in getting to know your customers, so that one box at a time, you get deeper with them, start to become aware of them, and then ultimately you can serve them better. Just want to see if there's any questions. Okay, let me go back. Most women over 30, and we got that. 4 categories, 90% bought it for themselves. Good information. That's really good information. 30-year-old entitled princess. Please be more positive about your language. Called Herm Global. 50-plus-year-old woman to Nerve Global. Okay, so we're starting to hear, when you use the word global, you know, find the insights in your own language of how you describe somebody. What does global mean? Does that mean they're environmental? Does that mean they're in all over the world? What does that mean? Okay. I'd 30 fancy auntie, large disposable income. I like that, fancy auntie, wants to get something handmade in Ireland and organic. Does that mean then that they're Irish, of Irish extraction? Does it mean that they are environmentally friendly, that it's a priority for them? Go deeper, not about what they purchase, but who they are. Are you noticing? And I want to call this to your attention that all the language here is about how somebody purchases and not who they are. And what I want you to do is flip your thinking into who they are, because when you know who they are, you can talk to each other. Okay? She has no children. Okay, great. Okay, so in the sheet of paper, for the person that you have chosen, take a moment and write down on that sheet of paper everything you know about them. And if the sheet of paper is blank, say to yourself, how can I find out something, one thing today about my customers? Even if that one thing today is just 90% are female over 50. And if that's all you learned today, then that's all you learned today. And tomorrow you'll find out. Say to yourself, I will spend 10 minutes every day finding out something new about my customer. Okay? And this worksheet will help you frame the questions that you want to find out about them. Okay? I see in the chat, I know my customers. Wonderful. I'm delighted with that. Okay. Focus on who they are, not what they buy. Okay. The next thing I want you to do, so we've kind of done demographics. The next thing I want you to do is, can you describe what a day is like for them? Okay, I know they shop on Etsy, which means they like handmade craft, not mass produced. Again, articulating that, even saying that they like handmade crafts, that is something that should be captured. That was something that was even dismissed in some ways. I use that term very loosely, dismissed in some ways in your language, but really should be captured. They like handmade stuff. They like unique stuff. Often people are shopping on Etsy. And the other thing I would say to you is, Google, what's the profile of the person who shops on Etsy? Doesn't your research and understanding of your customers doesn't just have to come from your direct experience. It can come from what Etsy researched. So research that and really get to understand your customer from that perspective. But knowing that they like handmade craft and not mass produced means you will change your language in how you promote and make that an important part of your message. Okay? I hope that helps. So the next thing that I want you to do is take a moment. I'm actually going to take all your chats, ladies who launch and are patrons of the arts and causes close to their hearts. Great. So you're capturing that. Causes close to their hearts. That may be important later. There may be an opportunity in there for you. And I want you to capture it. It doesn't, when you capture and you build customer profile, it's not about whether it's relevant now. You just simply capture it. Something will come that becomes an opportunity. Hopefully that makes sense to you. I want to move to the next thing. I want you to capture what a day in the life of this person is like. If they are ladies who lunch, are they not working? Is her name Genevieve or Mary or whatever it is? Does she get up late in the morning? Does she go for her morning swim? Does she lunch with her friends? Is she going to a full-time job? Does she have to collect her kids from school? What time does she have to do that? Does she go for a glass of wine in the evening? I want you to track their day loosely in terms of what you know, because somewhere in there, you will get an insight into the person behind that day. This is what we're trying to find out. We're trying to create this listening ear to understand their lives and not just their purchases. Because if we understand their lives, then we'll know where we need to be to show them who we are. Okay? Next step, because I'm conscious of time for you all, and you will have access to this, remember. What challenges do they face? So what are the pain points? Are they time constrained? Is it that they can't find enough environmental products for their in their lives because they want to make a difference environmentally? Are they really searching for organic stuff? Can you actually, if they were really searching for organic stuff, does that mean that it would be really useful for you? Because not only do we try and track this stuff, we also start to ask the questions automatically of, why does that matter? What does that mean to me? It might mean that you should be a member of an organic association. It might mean that you need to put organic on your site. What does it mean, these things that you discover, these little nuggets that start to build this bridge of understanding about your customer? Why does it matter for you? But big message for you, the who behind the purchase and understanding who they are. What does that mean for me in my business? Okay, so the challenges, later on, age visibility. Okay, so what are the challenges they face in making their choices or in their daily lives? What are the problems that you can solve? Usually it's a pain point on something. It might be that they're decorating their house and they want something really beautiful in it, or they're trying to find a beautiful gift for their mother-in-law or their wife or whatever it is. So what are the challenges they face that you can help them with? Okay, then you ask, after they have solved that problem of the dreaded mother-in-law gift or that square piece of art that they put on the wall, you're like, well, you've solved that pain point for them now. What can you do next for them? Because you've developed a relationship with them, that you answered their problem, you helped them. What can you do next? How else can you help them? How else can you serve them? Can you show them that piece of art in a set of greeting cards that you share with other people? What can you do for them now once you've solved their pain point? Okay. And then here's the stuff that is often the most difficult to do. Okay. This is 5, 6, and 7 in these steps. Next thing for you is, what is their footprint? So if they are ladies who launch, and if they're on charity, are they on charity sites? What are you looking for here? So where is their footprint? Where do we find them speaking, writing, having a strong presence? Where can we find them? Do they have a website? Does their charity have a website that they're involved in? Are they on the board of directors of that charity? What does that charity have a social media that they're managing for them? Or are they speaking about something? Some of your customers won't have any footprint because they might not have an active presence anywhere. And that's why the next part, which is what they consume, will be important. But we can't underestimate the importance of understanding where they might leave a footprint. Where are they members of? Like, are they members of the golf club? Are they active in the golf club? Do they write for publications? What are the things that would leave a footprint? And then we come to this next thing, which is really important for us. What do they consume? Is there a magazine that they love to read? Are they going to the Image Magazine Awards for something else? Are they reading a blog, listening to a podcast? What's popular? Are they in certain groups or associations, even in their locale, that you can understand a little bit more about what they do? How can you capture that? So what I'm trying to say to you is, spend the time of understanding the actions and behaviors behind the who of the person you're targeting. Because when you do, you are free to insert yourself into that process. Understanding them allows you to speak in their language, to really reach them and develop a relationship with them, and not a one-off singular transactional relationship, but something that you can cultivate and nurture and build loyalty with, especially in the space that you guys are all in. This is really important. Okay. Lastly, I would say to you, what else can you add? What is the magic stuff that you discovered that doesn't fit into the boxes? What can you add that helps you be closer to them? Okay, so let me come back here. So, does all that make sense? Type yes if you're still breathing. We will have more time for questions. Do you understand my core messaging here of understanding the who behind the people that you're caring for and serving with your beautiful products and services and the things that you create for them, that you design for them? Does that help? Are you still breathing? Oh, very good. Thank you. So great. Okay, now let's recap, because I want you to have loads of time for questions in the end. Okay, 7 steps, capturing them all, right? Recap them. Demographics, all the obvious. You can probably get that from the data that you get from how many people ordered from you. But poke around, look for the who behind, okay? Then walk in their shoes. Put yourself, what does daily life? And I kind of want to really recommend to you, find out one thing every day about your customer, and it will change your life if you find out one thing every day with your customer. And even if you have one conversation with one customer in your social media, you will discover something. And now you have a place to put that information instead of it spinning around in a circle in your brain. Harvest it so you can use it, okay? Challenges and pain points. When you've figured out how to help them in their pain points, how can you nurture with what motivates them, what drives them? How can you add something to their lives? Capture what their footprint is. It's where they're active, where they speak, where they write, where they are present, what associations are they active in, all of that stuff. And then what do they consume? Where are they learning? Where are they enjoying? Where are they entertaining? What can we understand here? Because even things like, if you understand what they watch on Netflix, you can do a post on social media about that. And they'll go, yeah, I saw that too. It's fantastic. It allows you to get closer. I'm wanting to give you permission to get closer to your customer and have a relationship with them. Because when you have a relationship with them, they will come to you when they need something that you have. And that's the insight. Okay. And what else? All right. So repeat this process for every type of customer. Now, based on what we've discussed here, you may start with thinking you have one type of customer, but usually I find there'll be one or two, and you will flip between a retailer in your industry, having someone stock your products and selling your products directly, or collectors or things like that. But for every type of customer, each type of customer has different motivations. So do a profile for each type of customer. Once you've the profile done, or the meat behind it, because you're never done, then you can craft a way to bring them through your site to buy from you. Okay. So key things to remember. I'm adding, think of the who behind the customer. Think of the who, not what they purchase, right? Rarely only one customer for any business, rarely. And we always want not to be over-reliant on any one type of key customer. So really, really think about, if you've only got one now from this conversation, think about, really, do I actually have two? Maybe I lumped two of them together, and I would be better if I really kind of dug a little deeper and separated them out. One profile per customer, and create, if you remember in June, some of you might have been on the workshop I did on funnels. So do this work and then rewatch the funnels, and you can actually create this journey that you guide them through to purchase more from you. This is really where you get your gold. And if you don't know something about your customer, ask them, and ask them all the time. Because when you ask, when you show interest in them, they will tell you. They like to tell you. Like, it doesn't always have to be, I have to do some market research. It can be just a conversation where you find out something else. Okay. So hopefully now you know what a customer profile is and how to do one that matters, and where you practically use it in your business in all of these things that we talked about, and how you can target more than one customer for your business. So my biggest message for you, and I have a story about this image here that I tell people. I remember doing this course when I used to facilitate courses in person. And I remember being at the top of the room and saying to the people in the class, and I said to them, I want you to imagine all the possibilities for your customer and not to think two-dimensionally about your customer. And I said, your customer could be a librarian that has tattoos and who bungee jumps on the weekend. And that's why I have this picture here. And someone put their hand up in the workshop and they said, Finola, I'm a librarian who has tattoos and bungee jumps on the weekend. And so my message here was, we can't make assumptions about our customers. We have to remain open-minded, see the depth behind them. And when we understand the depth behind them, we can deepen our own relationship with them. So I want you to find your librarian with tattoos who bungee jumps on the weekend and find a space for them. So biggest message, Resist the temptation to do this as a form filling exercise. Create space to hear your customers. And that worksheet will help you hear them because it can make you find out more, because you now become the private investigator for customers, and understand that those customers really want to talk to you. And the next, any questions? Any questions, everybody? So Mary, I'm finished and I'm dying to hear if anybody has any questions.
Yeah, no, Finola, thanks very much for that. That was brilliant. There's a couple of comments in there, all right, saying you're very good at this and congratulations.
Thanks.
So, yeah, so like you say, we'll be able to circulate that worksheet to people, will we? Yeah.
You can, well, they just have to log on and onto Instagram at @howgmw and they can download it.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's great. I don't think there's any other questions on there. Oh yeah, they have it. Yeah, you have it there. That's great. Yeah, we can copy and paste that.
Any questions, or anybody got stuck anywhere that they'd like to get unstuck? Because I'm happy to help.
No, I think they're just thanking you very much, Finola, and thanks very much. I really appreciate it. That was very useful, very helpful.
Cool. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks a million, Finola. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.